Do you ever feel like you're not good enough to go after your dreams or there's something holding you back? For me, like I found that like I have had a lot of situation where I don't feel like I'm good enough or I'm worthy enough or that I'm going to get it or something or I'm going to deserve it or that kind of thing. And so this could be anything from like money, like auditions, this could be um like a job or or something that you really want and you just don't think that you're cut out to get that, even if you've had the training or even if you've had, some sort of like, you know, yeah, training for whatever it is. So for me, like for example, let's put it on the court, is for me, like I've been wanting to go after my singing career for since I was, I don't know, as a young kid, singing and dancing were like my main favorites. And, when I was 18, I went for this audition and, obviously what I know now, like I wouldn't have quit, but basically I went in for this audition. It was a big one, and or at least I thought it was a big one in my opinion. And so I went in for the audition. They barely let me audition. And then they said no. And I was so devastated. And then I just figured, oh, well, that's it. That's my career. It's over. I'm never going to be able to be a singer and blah, blah, blah. And I just throughout, like, most of my life, there's always something that I was, like, not good enough or not worthy enough. Even auditions for, plays when I was a kid or, trying to be, like, the main lead, and I was either too scared or didn't think I would get it, so, like, why bother trying out? Or I would try out, but um I wasn't self-expressed, so then I wouldn't, because I didn't think I was worthy enough, so I wouldn't get it, obviously. So, because you can't be the main lead if you're, like, timid and scared and, not gonna push after it, even if you are scared. And so it's like being in front of big audiences, like, yeah, you can be scared or nervous, but it's like if that's what you wanna do, you gotta work on yourself in order to get there. So, anyway, so basically, like, as over and over and over again my whole life, it's like I've never felt good enough or like why would I have a better life or why would I be happy in my life, because I just didn't think it was possible. And so I just want you to know, like, this is what this video is about. Let's go into the limiting beliefs and what happens and how we can rewire our brains. So what are limiting beliefs? So limiting beliefs is something that we've, grown up with. Like it's from childhood, it's from like what our parents taught us or who raised us, or it's school, or it's we learn like a protective mechanism from some sort of trauma. So it's like now we don't think we're worthy because we were yelled at when we were a kid or something worse happened and then you feel so unsafe and not worthy. And so you have all these things like you're like, I'm not good enough. Like, how could I get that? Like, like my parents would, argue in front of me. Like, clearly that was my fault. So it's like, it's all these traumas. Like, yeah, you just don't think you're good enough or you don't think you can get something because someone wasn't there to encourage you along and say, yeah, you can have that. Go after that. So if somebody's not there to tell you that you can choose to go after it, even if you make mistakes along the way or fail or what. I don't like to use the word fail because we all learn from our failures or mistakes. And it's just like if someone's not there to tell you to like you can move forward and keep going, then you may quit. And so if you wanna go after something, you may never go after it because you don't feel like you could succeed because no one ever told you you could. And it's funny, it's like I heard a story from somebody that, this kid wasn't doing really well in school and, no one at home was encouraging him to do better. And then all of a sudden, like he did pretty well at something, and then the teacher or whoever turned around and said, "Wow, you really are good at this. Like, you should just keep going, or you're doing really well in math or whatever." And then it gives like the kid the confidence to keep going because they're like, "Oh, I can do this. I have faith, or somebody has the faith in you, or the or encourages you or empowers you to keep going. So this, like, when we have limiting beliefs, this is normally from our parents, a childhood trauma, so from someone else that kind of raised us, or some circumstance. So these are like, just, it's always going to be from the past, not just from, today. Like, you'll find, like, if you're really hyper aware, that you will see that, like, if you think you're not good enough, you will see, coincidence, or experience after experience after experience, where you're like, I never thought I was good enough, so I never went after it. And you had never had anybody to go, no, you can have this, but you just have to choose it, and you have to go after it. So just like, it's just limiting beliefs, or just something that we tell ourselves, so that, one, in a way protects us and keeps us safe and comfortable. Um, but that's a protective protection mechanism that we've learned, so when we realize we're not good enough, that keeps us safe in a way, even though it doesn't push us outside our our bou- our uh, our circumstances. So it's like, so we end up being stuck because we don't know we can get out of that pattern. And so, I mean, it's something you got to work on, but limiting beliefs can be changed, and you just have to be aware of it when it happens, and just move forward and choose that you want to move forward. So also, it's like, limited beliefs keep you playing in a box. It keeps you safe. So it keeps all your emotions of, like, so you'll have, like, fear or shame or rejection, or you'll have all these feelings around, like, you won't take action because of that fear, or that you were guilt tripped into something, or you were shamed for doing something. And so, like, you'll feel like you're stuck in a box, and you can't get out because you don't know what else is out there, or it's uncomfortable. And so you don't want to step outside that uncomfortable zone. So you'll feel stuck. And so, and sometimes this is knowledge, sometimes this is just being aware of this is happening to you. And there's also, like, creating the tools to work on yourself to get out of this loop of, like, of feeling stuck or restricted, or like you can't get out of, like, a maze kind of feeling. And so it's like, you feel like you're going in circles all the time, or you just can't break out of that. You feel like, something's better for you, but you just don't know what to do because you've never been told that you can, if that makes sense. I'm gonna go through the 5 top common limiting beliefs that hold dreamers back. So let's go through them. The first one is, you're not talented enough, or I'm not talented enough, or I'm not good enough. And this is from, like, messages from, like, you could be your parents saying, no, you can't do that, or no, you're not allowed to do that, but not explain why. Or this could be, yeah, this could be actually like a childhood trauma, or this could be, you're constantly criticized and told to be, in a way, told to be perfect by your parents' actions, or whoever raised you, and or society is telling you you have to be perfect in some sort of way. So this could be you looking at others, and trying to, and comparing your life to others. So that, like, celebrities or influencers, or people that are more successful than you. If you're looking at them and going, well, I can't do that, or I'll never be able to get that, then it's like, this comparison is like the thief of joy. And so when you have that belief of, I'm not good enough, I'm not talented enough, you could start a project and never finish it. Or you could, yeah, start the project, have the fears come up, and just not take action anyway. Or this could be, you or somebody says something and it takes you out. Like, somebody says, like, well, that's a stupid idea, or don't you think you should do this instead of that? And or just, they don't believe in you, or they won't say anything positive or empower you to go after that. So this, like, could, so, and people's opinions, sometimes we allow them to persuade us. And so, like, this is the worst kind, because I know in the past, like, people could say something, well, like, you're not good enough for that, or your singing's not that great, or I don't know, something. Or, oh, this could be even comments from people like, oh, well, you suck at singing. Or if you want people to take you seriously, like, then don't have pink, red hair. And so it's like, so people are like very judgmental and nasty, but it can take you out and you're like, well, why do I want to do this if people are going to be mean to me? But like, so, I mean, stuff like that. So it's just like, just knowing that I'm not good enough or I'm not talented enough is a big one. So just notice that, like, is that actually happening in your life? Is that one of your limiting beliefs? So the truth with the limiting belief, like I'm not good enough or I'm not talented enough, is that like what you see out there, like those who are successful or those who are celebrities, like they it might not just be talent. It could have been like they just worked hard. They knew where they wanted to go. They, did visualization. They did all sorts of things so that they did succeed. They just never quit. And so it's like a lot of the times where you're like, oh, this person just magically, came out of nowhere and they're all of a sudden famous. Well, but what we didn't see is like the 5 to 10 years that it took them to get there. And we just didn't know about them until they got famous or whatever. So it's just like, just knowing like it takes consistency, it takes action, it takes getting out of your comfort zone on a regular. This is the real truth. Like, this is like, if you really want something, you can have it. And so I just wanted to empower you all that, like, you are good enough and you are talented enough. An example of a reframe around this limiting belief is that you tell yourself, like, I don't have the skills right now, but I have the ability to to commit and to be persistent and to master my craft so that I am good enough and talented enough. And it's just like you just have to have that willingness to keep going. Number two, limiting belief is it's too late for me. And this could be something like, society tells us that we can't do something past a certain age, or like we're too young or too old. And it's like, oh, well, I can't start it because I'm in my, 40s, and I already have a job and blah, blah, blah. And I have a family to support. But there's nothing that actually tells us that we can't go after it. Like, it's just, it's mostly society pressures that's like, this is not actually true, but this is what they say, to prevent us from going after our dreams or doing something that supposedly we're too old. Because, we were told when we're growing up, like, we're kids, we go to middle school, go to high school, go to college. And then after that, go to get a job, then you find a partner, and then you get married, and then you have kids, and then blah blah blah, and then you never get to your dream because you're busy doing all that. But there's no set path. Like, there's a lot of people that don't go to college and they do just fine in this world. There's a lot of people that just want to, be entrepreneurs. And so you don't have to be a specific age. Like, I think if it's what Colonel Sanders, like it wasn't until he was 65 that he really KFC took off, and it took him years to get there. But there's so many other people that's like, I think Vera Wang was 40 when her dresses like became huge. So it's like there is no set age, and it's like you're not limited on age or body shape or like, yeah, you can still be fit in your 70s, in your 80s, in your 90s. Like, there's no limit. We're just told, there is a limit. So just want to let you know that, like, there is no limit ever. So just go after it. So a simple reframe could be like, I've had all these struggles, and I've had all these everything I've learned up until now is preparing me for what's to come. And so it's like, so you're not limited, and you're just preparing you're going through what you're going through now because that's how your path is supposed to go and how your journey is supposed to go. You're I mean, there's no set time on when things happen. It's just like sometimes we need certain circumstances in our life to happen to go after our dreams, or just to see that, sometimes not so great things happen, but you end up learning something out of it. Or, maybe there's a few experiences where you don't. you thought they were not great experiences, but like you learned something every time, or you became more wise. And so it's just like you have to go through the struggles to see that, now you are more prepared for it, because you've gone through some stuff, basically. The third limiting belief is like, I'm going to fail anyways, so why I try? So this is like from judgments and criticism from like growing up, like, because you're basically criticized or judged all the time. And so you always think that like other people's opinions matter. So then you're sitting there going, well, they're telling me, that it's basically I'm not good enough and I'm gonna fail at this anyways. Or, and so a lot of times these are people who are not successful and telling you, or most of the time it's people who are not successful, and they're telling you that you're gonna fail because one, they could be jealous, or two, they're just judging you because they're mad at themselves for not going after their dreams. So it's just like people in a way put their fear onto you and tell you that you are going to fail right off the bat, when in fact that's not true. You may make mistakes along the way, but every failure or mistake is something you can learn from. And so like the more you learn and the more you research, the more you ask people for help, or have mentors that can help you move along faster, like, if as long as you never quit, like, it's okay to fail. It's okay that you don't know how to do things. It's okay that you don't have everything figured out. It's just going after it, and actually going after it and committing that you're gonna work on it. And don't say try, like, just say, "I'm committed to working on whatever dream it is or whatever you want." And so it's like, just keep going after it. So a simple reframe around failure is that failure doesn't define me. I only am learning from that failure, and I can only rise from here. And yes, there's gonna be setbacks, but I'm gonna keep moving forward no matter what, and never give up. Number four limiting belief is I don't have the time or money. And so this comes, I know for sure this is also one of the ones I use, is I'm like, well, I work full time and I don't have time to do this, or I don't have the money because I got bills to pay. And so I was constantly stuck in this pattern as well, besides the I'm not good enough or I'm not talented enough. And so this was this was brutal also for me, because I was like, well, I can't find extra time to do this. And like, how am I going to schedule the time? And it's just like, once you and I mean, this comes from also from people like saying, it could be your past programming from your parents saying like, well, I don't have the money, so we can't do this, but never say why, or um yeah, or we can't afford this, or we're broke. It's just like those terms, like we can get stuck in that. And time for a lot of people is like, well, I have kids, I've got a full-time job, I have a relationship, I have friends, like I like to go out, just like all these things. And you're like, I'm just not willing to be flexible on time. I know for sure that was one of my things. And so it's just knowing that like there are ways to go about this, and you just have to be willing to push through that time and money limit. Like, you just, whether you believe that you have the time or money, you just like you to get where you want to go, you write out a plan and you stick to it and you commit to it and don't give up, and you figure out ways in your schedule. All right, so instead of on the weekend, like going to party or something, and therefore, be hungover the next day or whatever, or like I'm not gonna do, um, or every either the morning or the night, I'm gonna come home and I'm gonna work on for an hour, like every day, or 30 minutes work on something every day. And so it's like it's just trying to figure out time block. And it's funny, like once you start doing that, you'll start seeing like the ability to be more flexible with your time, or you realize what your true priorities are. And if you want that dream to happen, like, you might eliminate partying, because that can take up a whole night and maybe the full next day if you're hungover. And so it's just like, so you just figure out a way to work this in your schedule. So it's like you do something like time blocking. So it's like you could be like, oh, I want to work on, like, for example, for me, like, I wanna work on my lyrics. I'm gonna sit down for an hour, and if that's all I got, I'm gonna sit down and focus on that, and not let anything distract me. Like I'll put my phone away, just something where I know I can focus on my like lyrics like for at least an hour. And sometimes like with that first 15-20 minutes, I'm sitting there like pondering and trying to get into the flow. But sometimes after that, then I'm able to start writing out lyrics. It's like, so just blocking that time and realizing that you can figure out some amount of time for yourself if you eliminate what doesn't serve you, and or what you got to figure out what you want in your life. Like, yeah, if you want your dreams to come true, you have to start looking at how your whole life is scheduled. Like maybe write out the schedule of what you do every day and see where you could maybe fit some like 30 minutes to an hour in. Like it's just something where you can try to fit things in, or maybe like is there a little bit you can do at work? I know that doesn't sound like great, but sometimes maybe you could sit out in the car and work on something for like 15 minutes. I don't know. There's always some little thing you can do. It's also like one of this time and money thing. And like, and you can hire somebody like a mentor who's more successful or where you want to be. Like for me, it would have been like a singing coach or somebody who is higher in the singing, realm than I am, like, who's more successful, who's actually making money. So it's just like it just you gotta look at it like, how can I reduce the amount of time it takes me to get there? If somebody already has that knowledge, then why not find somebody who will mentor you? And this could be like a for example, like a neighbor, like if you want to be a lawyer, like and they're a lawyer, you can be like, hey, we sit down for like an hour and me ask you some questions of like what you think I should be doing to get there if they're a successful lawyer. Like it's just thinking outside the box a little bit and being open to what other people say, whether you want to take their advice or not. And you may not, and that's okay. And just like, how does it make you feel when you hear that? Like, does that actually sound like something that you want to do? Or this could also help you decide, like, no, I don't want to do that because I don't like the what they said. And so this it may help you with the decision, and then you won't waste time on taking the time to work on whatever that is. And then when it comes to money, you just have to start. Like when I know for me, I was like, well, I don't have the money for this or I don't have the money for that. And eventually, like I sat down with my finances and I was like, all right, what do I spend my money on? How could I budget like a little bit here and a little bit there? And like because what I found is like when I first started, I paid someone money to like teach me a little bit about lyrics or ask them to teach me about like music management in a way, or I read books or I bought books and read up on it as much as I could if I couldn't afford like a coaching program or something like that. So it's just like, and then it's like eventually I got into a singing coach. And then also you guys got to remember like there's so much info on YouTube. You could always like research YouTube and Google and be like, "All right, how do I do this?" Or what could be the first steps? And once you start actually taking the steps and maybe sharing with people like what you're after, then a lot of times you'll end up becoming more resourceful, and then you have more opportunities to actually make money because then you're taking the steps towards it. And honestly, the biggest takeaway is just take each day at a time and don't sit there and be like, "Oh, I have to have this by a certain time or certain age," because sometimes that might not actually happen. And it's just allowing yourself to, work, and see like what you can come up with when it comes to the time and money. So it's just like don't give up, just keep going. Like a simple reframe can be like, I make time for what matters. And as I take the actions, I will get the support and resources that I need to make my dream happen. So it's just being in the allowing for things to happen and know that if you take steps forward, things will begin to happen. Just like I did. And like, yes, it takes time and it's just giving yourself grace as well that, you don't have to have things figured out right up front. Like you just take baby steps and just keep moving forward. Number five limiting belief is like, who am I to dream so big? So it's like you're in the imposter syndrome. It's like you don't think you're worthy or like you think your dreams are too big. There's no dream that's too big, honestly. And so it's just, it just depends on what you're after. And there is no limit. And there's always endless possibilities and opportunities if you set your goals up and you plan and at least start going down that path. And your path may change and it's okay. But it's like it's just starting out with a dream. What do you want? And and then maybe why do you want it? So that you have the why, because then the impact is so much greater. But I mean, I know sometimes we all think our dreams are too big, so we scale them back. I mean, I guess I want a little bit of this, but then we're like, well, but I don't think I can have that, because it's just seems so far out there. But it's just like there is no limit, and like don't sabotage yourself to go to not go after your dreams because you are worthy of that. This can show up as the fear of being seen, heard, like the fear of success or being in the spotlight, or you don't want to stand out, or yeah, like you don't think you're worthy, or you don't want other people to like be hyper focused on you. You don't want to be the center of attention kind of thing because therefore you don't want your dreams so big because if people see you then you'll feel like you're going to be criticized or judged or whatever it is. And so it's like you end up like playing small and not playing full out, or you're hiding your talents or your expression, or you're not allowing your voice to be heard, or your expression of, creativity to be seen. And so this is tough to watch because like I know what that's like because for the longest time I didn't think my dream of singing full time with like the impact that I want to have on the world was possible. And honestly, it took a long time for me to like get there. But like I realized that over time, like the more I took steps towards what I want, the more I was either more clear of what I really wanted, therefore I knew specifically what I was after, or like I started, becoming more self-expressed and more confident in just like realizing like I really want this. And so like I'm gonna get out of my comfort zone of not wanting to be on video or afraid to, be asked questions in public because I'm afraid to say the wrong thing kind of thing. So it's just like allowing yourself to dream big and you are worthy and let's go after it. Like a reframe could be like, I am worthy to go after my dreams. I have what the world needs. Like this could be, your truth and the struggles you went through and the story that you have, you know, the world needs that. The world needs like your way of like explaining things, or the world needs like your energy and your love and what you've gone through to share with other people so people don't feel like they're alone. And because in this world, we all like to feel connected and a part of a community or a part of someone's life because then we feel like we have a little bit of purpose or we have someone to share it with. And so, like, you are worthy, you are needed. This world needs you, it needs your love, it needs your purpose, it needs your whatever it is you have that others can learn from. So, you are needed. In the comments below, like what's one limiting belief that you're going to work on, or what is your limiting belief, or like maybe like what is a way to rewrite your limiting belief for you. I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. Please. I want you all know that you are not your thoughts and you are the creator of your life. Please like, share, and subscribe to my channel for more info. Thank you all so much for listening. I love you, and let's rise like a phoenix.